Hey Robin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming and joining me and talking a little bit about your experience that we had together in the mastermind class. First of all, why don't you tell us what mastermind did you participate in and what was the overall best part of the lesson or what you took away from the mastermind group?
Yeah, we did a mastermind at Grace Church in the 15 Laws of Growth. My favorite part was the immense amount of self-awareness that was gained. It seemed like every law really focused a lot on the importance of taking a really honest look at yourself um, in a humble yet smart way of saying nobody's perfect. Even though we all work really hard to be good leaders, there's always something more we can be doing, something different we can tweak. And the level of desired self-awareness from this John Maxwell book was, I think it was really valuable and huge. Yeah.
So obviously we did it as you did it as a leadership team when I came in to do it, but do you feel like it's something that you could do on a personal level if you're not part of a team, or do you think that it's something you should take part in as a group?
Oh, wow. I think it can definitely be done both ways. I think the group is valuable because you can get honest feedback from people that you work with regularly. A couple people that were in the class with us, I don't see regularly. So they had one view of me where they could help me sort of fill in the gaps. But then a couple different people I work with daily, and they were able to really speak life into my habits, the way I do things, or the things that I can necessarily sharpen better.
Gotcha. And so if somebody was going to join a group with a bunch of people they didn't know, do you feel, or what value do you think they would get out of it?
Well, sometimes I think that if you have somebody who you don't know, maybe you're more willing to share with them, like you're a neutral third party. You're
Right.
more willing to say, "Oh, I've only known you this short time," or "But I can tell that you are this, this, and that." And there's not that pressure of a personal relationship with them.
Mhm.
So you might actually end up being more honest with what you able to clean first. Hopefully not. But yeah, so I can see that being true, and also it just being less pressure to maintain or not step on toes.
Yeah, I love how you looked at it immediately as how you could serve somebody else by being able to look at that because you said, well, I could tell them I could see this, this, and this in you, and you're such an encourager by nature. But also, I think that sometimes when you feed you're honest, like you're saying something honestly, it may help somebody else grow. Did you have, I mean, I know we were amongst people that you knew pretty well and then some you didn't know as well, but did you find that you were learning from others and maybe their challenges or their insights?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things was being able to recognize and realize that everyone is just as like insecure or worried about their shortcomings as I am. And so I would look across the table at someone who would say, "Oh, I've always felt nervous about this," or I know I don't do this well. And I would be able to think, "Oh my goodness, no, you do that so well." And then it sort of helps you to say, like, wow, we are all a mess, or we are all in process together. Nobody is perfect and nobody has it all figured out. So I can kind of relax and say, I'm not the only one who doesn't have it all figured out in the room. And so that was really helpful.
Yeah, that's really funny that you bring that up because I think oftentimes, we look at somebody and we think, man, they've got it all together. Their life is so perfect. And then when we get to know them, we realize that everybody has the same struggles and we just mask it differently, right?
It's
So,
so true. So true.
That's awesome. And so tell me a little bit about your team. And after you guys went through the 15 laws of growth together, what have been some of the changes or the differences in your communication or your relationships with each other?
We've definitely been able to be more honest with feedback. I think one of the things that is lacking a lot in groups or leadership teams today is the ability to give each other open and honest feedback, and for it to be able to be received in a positive way. Obviously, we can't grow unless we have any sort of idea of our areas of growth that were needed, but we've been able to work really solidly into keeping that culture of I want you to tell me what you're seeing or what is lacking, and I promise that I will respond in a gracious way. I might need some time to go away and think about it and stew on it or sleep on it, but I want that feedback. And so in my team specifically, we've even just last week, we were talking about how the lines of communication need, even cross chain of command, if you have a problem or if you are seeing a problem, I absolutely need you to come to me and tell me and let me know. And so we're really working on that, having open lines of communication and good methods of feedback.
That's awesome. Well, I know we have a new book out by John Maxwell about the laws of communication that probably will be our next study.
Yes.
That's
It's
awesome.
everything. It's everything. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
So true.
So, if you were talking to somebody considering joining a mastermind, either one that we're offering or doing it as a group, what would you tell them? What would you say to people?
I would tell people that it's really important to make sure that you are ready to bring everything to the table. And of course, some people are not as comfortable with vulnerability or complete honesty or transparency. But if you are really wanting to grow, you have to be willing to go there. You really will get out of it what you put into it. So, yeah, I think definitely being willing to participate to the maximum extent that and then that will really help your team grow.
That's awesome. And so, what's the one thing that has stuck with you since we completed the mastermind? What's the biggest takeaway that you've, other than maybe somebody sleeping in their workout clothes to get up for,
Yes,
yes.
that's a good idea. I almost did that last night. Such a good idea.
I always joke because that's the one thing he's like, how come that's the one thing you remember out of all the 8 weeks that we were together? I'm like, I don't know. That's just the one thing I remember about you.
Very memorable. Yeah.
So what for you outside of that, what's the one thing?
I think it's so important if you want to be a leader, gain influence with people, that you have to continually be intentionally growing. It's not going to just happen to you. It's not just going to fall in your lap. You have to be a lifelong learner. You have to be somebody who is daily going after one thing after the next to learn and grow and get better. And then your team is better and everything just works better when the leader is growing. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very good. Well, thank you so much for taking time today to do this. I appreciate you. And I know we'll be back in a room together at some point.
Oh, you're welcome.
That
Thank
is-
you.
Thank you so much.